I'm going to show you how to create an amazing sunset photo even when there is not really a sunset. Hi, I'm Scott Robert Lim, and welcome to Concept to Completion. Great images are strong in these four areas: composition, lighting, posing, and post-processing. This brief video will talk about all four fundamentals. Let's first talk a little bit about composition here. So, I wanted to use my 85 millimeter lens to give me a little bit more reach, and I used that 1.8 f1.8 so I could get a blurred background. And so your eye goes to what is sharpest and what is brightest. And so if you use a lens where the background is blurred, it's going to enhance and make the viewer's eye just focus immediately on your subject, which is in focus. And so now I placed the subjects next to the water. So there was a lot of tourists around, but there's less tourists in the water than there is on the beach. And so if you put them next to the water, you can eliminate a lot of distractions of people walking by. Next, I'm using a flip screen on my camera so I can put it on the ground or put a low point of view. And so it kind of gives my subjects a hero feel where the camera angle is low and it's shooting up on my subjects. And you can blur out the foreground too, because of the low angle and the sand on the bottom. And so I like doing that. But I just, I like changing things up. I don't like to take things the normal way. And so a lot of times I'll shoot low or I'll shoot high. In this case, I'm shooting low, and I like the perspective that it's giving me. Okay, now let's talk about lighting. Now, I said your eye goes to what's brightest and what's sharpest, right? So a lot of times you need to add a little bit of light. So let me show you the situation that we had here. This was in Hawaii. I was doing a workshop there, and I started setting this up, and everybody started crowding around and taking pictures. So it's actually hard for me to take a picture, but anyways, I got my shot. So I love using these Stellas 1000 and 2000 because they're very durable and they're waterproof. And so if you go to light and motion, you can see these 1000s here and these 2000s. The 2000 is brighter than the 1000, but they're both are waterproof. They're completely submergible, and I love using these small, portable, durable lights. And so here's my setup where I'm doing two side lights to illuminate my subject here, and I put them a little bit far away, so give me some really nice uplight. And if you notice in the photo, I'm going to get these beautiful catch lights there. You can see the lights right there. And so I love that because now it creates depth when I put a highlight and a shadow, and see how the tones and the shape of the body comes out. When there's a highlight and shadow, the face is more defined, the body is more defined. And so I love using light to make them brighter, but also in a position where it can give me a little dimension, which is what you have to do by creating shadow. Okay, so that's the lighting. Let's talk a little bit about the posing. Usually what I like to do when I'm posing two people, I like to set up one person first and then add the additional person to complement the one person that I set up. Usually it's the female, so here I'm setting the female up, and then also then I'm placing the male subject in back of her. And what I like to do a lot of times when I have them sitting on the ground is I like to have their legs opposite directions, so this way that they can face each other. So I can create a lot of different poses. They can look at each other, they can not look each other, they can look down, one can look over here, one can look down. I mean, you can just do many things when they're facing each other like this, and this is a common thing that I like to do. Now, in regards to post processing, it's very important to learn how to process the skin. And so you can see the original photo here where it was, pretty hot, and so you've got some shine on the skin, and you really want to just be able to smooth that skin out to really, to me, it's kind of like making it look like butter, right? Where you're just smoothing it out, and then you're also kind of defining the highlights. And so I'll take certain things and I'll make it brighter. I'll do the Rembrandt lighting. I'll make it brighter here, 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 here. I'll make the highlight a little bit brighter, and maybe I'll shadow the kind of darken the shadows to create a more defined highlight and make the skin glow a bit. But it's very important to, when you're doing portraits, to learn how to smooth the skin out, because that really polishes that photo and makes it look at the next level. Okay, and so again, I'm wanting to add a warm sunset sky. So what I have in my Adobe um, Photoshop, I have a library of images that you can upload, and it will, no matter what computer you're using, as long as you log into your Adobe account, you can get access to these textures or these pictures that you post on there. And so I put a bunch of my skies that I use all the time, and I happen to use this guy here because I love the sunset feel. My photo didn't have the sunset feel, so I am adding this guy to my image. And so you can go from something that looks like this to something that looks like this. Okay, and so the important thing is that the highlight here in the sky has to match the highlights and the tones in the skin, and the darker areas have to match kind of the darker tones of the image, so you can blend that sky in. And so that's why I love using Photoshop, because it allows me to do that. Okay, so there it is. You can go from no sunset at all to sunset by using a texture, a sky in your post processing, using some nice lights, and posing a couple correctly and nice together, creates a very impactful romantic image. And so when you ever want to kind of enhance romance, you got to have a sunset. Sunset and romance goes together. And so that was my vision for this particular photo. So until next time, this is Scott Robert Lim, and we will catch you later.